Kelly, the shortages you mentioned are everywhere. Here at this family-owned grocery store in Sunnyvale, California, they expected about a 5 or 6 pallet shipment today as they would normally. Instead, they got nothing.
It's no debating that the global supply chain is in bad shape. But this also means that certain crypto projects will be scrambling to be the first to solve these problems. So in this video, we are breaking down 5 assets that are leading this race. The bear market is the best time to learn about these projects, and by the end of this video, you're going to have a much better perspective. As always, I'm Wade Teamer, and you're watching DHN. With Hedera Hashgraph, let's start with previous developments into the supply chain industry, most recently via Avery Dennison. The Atma.io application built on Hedera is being used to manage nearly 22 billion items across various industries, with the goal of helping enterprises reduce carbon emissions. What's unique about Hedera's approach altogether is that they are addressing the more underlying elements to supply chain management. To account for carbon emissions, very precise measurements must be taken to get the right information for each and every item. Using Hedera's consensus and token service, tokenizing the data needed to record carbon emissions makes it very easy to store. Since launch, 6 of the top 10 apparel brands from around the world are using Atma through Avery Dennison. 4 of the highest earning fast food restaurants are using it as well. Another important element to the supply chain is the workflow process itself. ServiceNow uses Hedera to create DLT-based applications for companies to use that makes work easier for their employees. This application can be applied to record keeping, identity management, and data management. Next to ServiceNow, you have Melexi, which provides advanced supply chain technology for the wholesale, import, and finance of food and agriculture products in the United States, Europe, Africa, India, and the UAE. Melexi leverages Hedera to allow buyers and sellers to trade product credentials quickly and securely. Speaking on the scope of Hedera, the governing council consists of 26 companies with reach all around the globe. But the one I want to draw your attention to, however, is Tata Communications. That council member is tied to a much larger mega corporation in the form of the Tata Group. Tata is divided into multiple industries, including automotive, retail, steel production, and even aerospace defense. Just Tata itself could provide Hedera Hashgraph with more than enough opportunities to address supply chain challenges in the future. There are a couple reasons why IOTX is on this list. The first would be UCAM, the world's first blockchain-powered home security camera. It's the equivalent of a Ring camera on the blockchain. We know that Ring security equipment can be used in almost any setting, especially in factories and shipping warehouses. The second reason is the PEBBLE device, and this one is big. Notice PEBBLE is a small IoT device that can turn any product, any vehicle, any machine into a real-world data generating program. This PEBBLE can go anywhere a mobile phone could, and when you think about all the places mobile devices exist now, you can see where this device can end up. Let me show you the real-world application already taking place. In May of last year, IOTX landed a $1.5 million contract with the US Navy to manage medical supplies. This would see the use of the PEBBLE to secure data across medical supply chains and ensure that the most trusted information is being used to manage medical inventory globally. The application is called HealthNet. It was designed for medical operators to use pre-existing data to track medical supplies from manufacturer to suppliers to the customer. Each layer of the supply chain is important, and you'll notice that all of the assets on this list approach each layer in unique ways. IOTX and Mobi is a perfect example of this. Since September of last year, IOTX has been working with Mobi on its Trusted Trip initiative. Mobi is using the PEBBLE to track roaming entities or any person, product, or vehicle on the supply chain. Automotive manufacturers can track and trace each item at every point in the journey, from manufacturer to customer. Tracking these metrics allows companies to save money and time by having the most accurate shipping data at all times. As the adoption of the PEBBLE increases, so will the value of IOTX itself. On the subject of the Internet of Things, our next pick is IOTA, the king of IoT. Dating all the way back to 2018, IOTA has been working with some of the largest companies in the world to provide IoT technology to the supply chain. On May 22nd of 2018, IOTA partnered with Contact.io. This integration will enable tamper-proof and chargeable reading of smart sensor data. This will equip healthcare operators and supply chain firms who monitor environmental conditions for compliance reasons with a fully transparent way for storing and reporting telemetry data. All that simply means is that Contact has been using IOTA within its smart sensor platform to track, trace, and verify the credibility of medical products on the supply chain. Later that year, it was Riddle and Code. This would see IOTA Tangle DLT being used for the development of smart cities and the machine-to-machine economy. This development really ties into the individual devices that exist on a supply chain, again, addressing the multiple layers. As we move through this digital transition, more and more functions are being replaced by machines or programs that must communicate with one another in order to process the right information. IOTA is the base layer from which these networks will live on. Now, in addition to all of that, we have Project Alvarium. Project Alvarium and the Data Confidence Fabric will be used for achieving SDG goals and ESG standards through collaboration with Dell, Intel, and the Linux Foundation. And this fabric will essentially lay over existing supply chain applications, allowing devices, manufacturers, suppliers, and consumers to read and communicate the supply data of any product. Although this can be used across multiple supply chain verticals, the first place you will see the DCF is in the tech industry, which is fitting as there is a major problem affecting the distribution and creation of tech items: chip shortages. With the DCF, companies can provide information on where the best places are to acquire chips, and with that, create solutions to increase the output of that particular manufacturer. This is a massive use case, as those chips are literally in everything we use on a daily basis. Managing this DCF globally is going to be a challenge, and sometimes you can't have a physical person in every spot on the globe. What if you had an AI robot to do it though? Well, in collaboration with Fetch AI, bonus coin, they've given us autonomous agents. These agents can be programmed to complete several tasks along the supply chain. Imagine being able to program Alexa to not only buy the product from Amazon, but make it, pack it, and ship it directly to your door. That's an autonomous agent. In addition, IOTA is also being used in the field of agriculture for safe food traceability solutions, as well as global trade in East Africa. IOTA's Tangle is being used to go paperless in the global trade process. To top things off, IOTA has rank in some of the most influential bodies in the world, the EU being their biggest supporter, who has been very vocal about the use of DLT and blockchain in their economy. Although Origin Trail might be one of the youngest assets on this list, it already carries just as much potential as Hedera or IOTX.
During trusted data exchange, data needs to all be speaking the same language, it needs to be easily accessible, it needs to be trusted, and it needs to be shared in such a way that it doesn't compromise any individuals or businesses.
Origin Trail's technology is one to marvel at. By using what is called decentralized knowledge graphs, companies that use Origin can source any kind of data they want from Origin's decentralized pool of knowledge. To avoid bogging this video down with even more technical terms, the easiest comparison I could make would be to a futuristic data archive, kind of like the one we see in Star Wars, you know.
If an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist.
Similar knowledge graphs are used by mega corporations like Amazon, Google, and IBM to provide solutions to clients around the globe. This technology has allowed Origin to position itself into many supply chain categories, starting with beef, baby. Thanks to EchoPack, Origin's decentralized knowledge graph is being used to connect data across a variety of stakeholders in the organic beef market. During the IOTA segment, we talked about how the European Union is very active in the field of blockchain. This deal with EchoPack is funded by the European Union's Rural Development Initiative. Next, we have fashion and apparel. As of now, Matthew Williams, the man behind 1017 clothing brand, integrated Origin's technology into their customer experience. By scanning unique digital codes within the item, consumers can view the garment's journey and track it all the way back to the factory. This brings up 3 very important points. 1. There's a trend in fashion these days to reduce the ecological footprint of clothing. We've seen this coming down all the way from the World Economic Forum as well as numerous celebrities. Number 2. This particular application is supported by none other than Avery Dennison, Hedera Hashgraph partner. And number 3, this move in particular resembles what many companies have been doing since the early 2000s: digital transformation. Lego did the same thing in 2005, not with any blockchain, but the incorporation of a digital end-to-end solution brought that company back to life. Getting back to Origin though, they also have applications for the factories on the supply chain, calling them trusted factories. The Supplier Compliance Audit Network is an association of more than 21,000 factories in the US that use Origin to conduct audits in line with S.C.A.N's rigorous data criteria. Lastly, can't forget about the pharmaceutical industry. Origin's Trace Labs and BSI have come together to create AID Trust. This technology is being used to safely track and trace various medical instruments in complex environments. You're probably not surprised, but the reason why VeChain is number 1 on this list is going to shock you. Since inception, VeChain has been the industry leader in supply chain adoption with the use of blockchain technology, the biggest deal of which would be the partnership with Walmart's China division for blockchain traceability. Shortly after, Sam's Club China followed suit, and the momentum did not stop. April 8, 2019, VeChain, DNG-VL, and Norway in a Box collaborate on a superior product platform. Using VeChain's VeThor-powered blockchain technology, customers are able to scan a QR code and learn everything there is to know about where a product comes from. In May, same year, Cupid Farms becomes the first product to go live on Bright Code, built on VeChain Thor, once again allowing customers to verify the origins of ingredients in milk and where the milk itself was produced, attacking the supply chain from multiple layers. In July of 2019, they got into the beef industry by empowering the lifecycle management of premium beef produced in Australia. A lot of people love beef, but what's less known is the process that cattle go through. With VeChain, suppliers in Australia can track and trace data for each individual cow from farm to table. November of the same year, VeChain, ASI, and DNVGL announced the first ever cross-continental logistics and trade solution based on blockchain technology for the food and beverage industry. In May of 2020, VeChain spread out into the broader Asian Pacific region by becoming the sole blockchain protocol on the APAC Provenance Council, a cross-continental food supply chain and finance consortium. Later that month, VeChain stepped into the agricultural field with an application to support underserved farmers globally. Producers Market chose to use VeChain to implement ToolChain, an application that will trace agricultural products to maintain and enhance their export competitiveness in a global marketplace. September of 2020, VeChain joins China's Animal Health and Food Safety Alliance to provide blockchain solution for its enterprise members. Some of those enterprise members include McDonald's, Walmart, Hormel, IBM, Ecolab, Cargill, Starbucks, Aramac, and a company that operates in my own backyard, Neogen. Now, before we go any further, I want to emphasize 2 things. 1, if you found value so far in this video, don't forget to leave a comment below letting us know your thoughts on today's content. And 2, I couldn't precisely name some of the other Chinese companies on this list, but I would not be surprised at all if Monsanto was connected to any, if not all, of these companies. If that's true, then we could be looking at a future where VeChain and Monsanto are in the same article. Closing out 2020, VeChain brought ToolChain, the application, over to the US market by onboarding a seafood import platform, KnowSeafood, for lifecycle management of seafood products for US consumers. So far, what I've given you is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to VeChain. All of those developments pale in comparison to what VeChain accomplished in the winter of 2019. At the third Belt and Road Initiative Forum held in Shanghai, China, VeChain together with DNVGL and the Belt and Road Initiative Research Institute, as well as other top-level governmental agencies in China, established the Belt and Road Blockchain Alliance. The main reason you may not have heard of this is because of how geopolitics work. But if you know what the Belt and Road is, you know how important this could be. Actually, this month, our Digit Hustle Diamond members will be viewing a very special piece focused on this subject. In it, we go over how VeChain got involved with this initiative and how the Belt and Road is currently going through a digital transformation of its own with the help of multiple blockchain and DLT companies. To become a Diamond member, it's really easy. Simply press the join button located under this video, and for $2.99 a month, you can get access to crypto content I promise you won't see anywhere else on YouTube. Now, in addition to launching a stablecoin at the top of the year, the VeChain Foundation has set up offices in San Marino, placing them in Europe. Nearly every asset on this list has ties to Europe, and wouldn't you know it, 35 countries in Europe are part of the Belt and Road, with 18 of them being in the European Union. One more point I want to make here. According to the Blockchain Supply Chain Finance Market Report for 2022, market share for blockchain solutions focused on the supply chain could reach into the hundreds of billions in the next 5 years. Key factors listed in driving this growth include IBM, Deloitte, Accenture, Distributed Ledger Technologies, and Ripple. Interesting. If you're new here, leave a comment saying that you subscribed, and I will personally respond to it with a very special thank you message for doing so. Also, official DHN merch is now available with stylish crypto looks for the summertime. And check out this playlist here for more detailed Digit Hustle special reports. And while you're at it, always remember, have a great day, have a prosperous day, and most importantly, if that money is digital, so is the hustle. I'll see y'all in the next one.